99.9% of the time, someone's going to castle in chess. I don't know about you, but I love to attack. So why not learn how to attack the castled king? In this video, I'm going to show you 10 easy to follow steps that if you can master them, you're going to get successful attacks and you will be able to crush your opponents. Alright guys, these are the 10 rules. I'm not going to go ahead and read them, but I will leave them in the description below, so feel free to check them out. Now keep in mind that not all are necessary for a successful attack. But with that being said, the more of these you can implement, the more likely your attack is going to be successful. Let's now jump into a game so we can see some of this in action. This game we're going to look at is going to be a short one, but we're going to learn a lot from it. We have e4, e5, knight to c3, knight to f6, and this is a Vienna. Here, white continue with bishop to c4, and black took on e4. The idea here is that if knight takes on e4, then you go d5, you fork both the bishop and knight. The bishop comes to d3, you take, and this position is considered equal, and actually black might have a small little edge here since they can go ahead and play f5, e4, and start getting a very strong center. But this is not the move we're going to concentrate on. We're going to, instead in this position, go for queen to h5. And this is the Frankenstein-Dracula variation. And from here, notice that we're already threatening checkmate on f7. So this knight has to come back to d6, and it attacks the bishop and at the same time protects the square on f7. But we do have 1, 2, 3 pieces already in the attack. Here, we're going to move our bishop back to b3. Notice that we could have gone for queen takes on e5 check, but then this queen comes to e7. We're going to be pinned. We're going to be forced to trade queens. And yes, we might have a very pleasant position, but it's going to be equal and a long game ahead. So instead here, bishop to b3, and here black played bishop to e7. And now we are ready to take on e5. But instead of this, we're going to play this move to d3. And remember, development and time in chess are sometimes more important than material. Here, black decides to castle, so now we need to see how we're going to attack this castled king. Notice something, this knight that was originally on f6 is no longer there. So we no longer have a pawn on e5 that is going to attack this knight, but we were able to relocate this knight to another square. And from here, notice that this knight gets in the way of some of the pawns, so it is very hard for black to create defensive ideas here. So after castling, we're going to go ahead, put a knight on f3, and this is one of the rules that we mentioned about. We want to control the 5th rank, and notice that our queen is doing a very good job of controlling the 5th rank. Now this knight is going to be able to jump to squares like g5, which will create mating threats already on the square on h7. Another idea that we needed to keep in mind, remember, was we wanted a bishop attacking one of the 3 squares around the castled king. In this case, it's going to be our bishop here attacking the square on f7, and you will see very shortly why this is very important, because this pawn is not going to be able to move forward. This bishop can also sometimes be in this diagonal here in d3, in which it attacks a square on h7. And notice that our bishop on c1 is keeping a very good eye on the square on g5 as well as h6. So the game continues here with knight to c6. Black just develops another piece, and here we go and we play knight to g5 attacking checkmate on h7. And notice that black has to play this move h6. Another beautiful continuation here would have been to go for bishop takes on g5, but this loses to bishop to takes on g5. And notice what I said, it's important that this bishop is here controlling this pawn. This pawn cannot move forward now. So there's not a lot of squares for this queen to move to. So the queen has to actually go to e8, and after knight to d5, there's going to be nothing protecting the square on c7, but that's not even the main threat. The main threat is actually if you go something like, let's say, pawn to a5, then you can go ahead and give this check. You have to pretty much take this knight, because if not, I take your queen and it's game over. And once you take, I'm going to take, and it's going to be impossible to stop both queen to g5 checkmate or queen to h6 g7 checkmate. So this move after knight to g5, h6 had to be played here. And after h6, instead of moving this knight backwards, we're going to go ahead here and play another impressive move, pawn to h4. And the idea of this is that we want to open this diagonal so that we can checkmate the black king here on h8 or h7. Notice that if black takes this knight down, we're going to take with our pawn, and it's going to be impossible for black to prevent this checkmate. So this knight is unstoppable. And also bishop takes g5 runs into the same idea as we mentioned before of bishop taking on g5, and we're going to go ahead and either trap this queen or deliver checkmate. So after pawn to h4, here black tried to go knight to e8. The idea is just to go knight to f6, or to also play d6 or d5 and block this bishop from attacking on f7. But this is a huge mistake. In the game, knight to d5 was played, but there is a beautiful combination here. After knight takes on f7, this queen is trapped, so you have to take here. And after queen takes on f7, king comes to h7, and this leads to mate. After queen to g8, king comes to g6, we go h5 check, king h7, queen h7 check, and after this is checkmate on the board. So this would have finished the game on the spot, but this game is not known for this checkmate, it's known for another beautiful one. So after knight to e8, we have knight to d5 on the board. This is just bringing another piece into the attack, and in a lot of cases, this knight is going to be able to sacrifice itself on f6 with this queen coming to g6 and h7 checkmate, which is exactly what we're going to see in this game. We have knight to f6 here, and here white played queen to g6. Now, the threat is simple. We want to take on f6 with check, and after bishop takes, checkmate on h7. So you have to take this queen now. And when you take it, then there's checkmate in two moves. Knight takes on e7 is a double check with the bishop and the knight. So there's no time to recapture any of these pieces or actually block the check. So the king has to go to h8 is the only square, and knight takes on g6, checkmate. An impressive game on how you use all your pieces in order to attack the castled king. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, stay safe, have a great day, show respect to your opponent. See you on the next video.